welcome back to another Netflix review. So I watched that limited series on there called Hollywood, which is another Ryan Murphy show, who is the same guy who did Glee. He's done American Horror Story, he did Fosse, he did this, he's working on a Halston miniseries, which I'm super looking forward to. The trailer already shows Liza Minnelli in it, so you know I am right there all over it. But this one intrigued me because it's like 1940s Hollywood as its backdrop. So you know damn well I am like all over that. However, the only thing I knew going into it really was that it was more or less a reimagining of what 1940s Hollywood could have looked like. Okay, that can mean an awful lot of things, but the way that Ryan Murphy went about this, I have to admit, I was not expecting this to be the premise at all. So, when it first episode, first unveils, like, all of the scenery is just such beautiful eye candy, especially for somebody who already fangirls over that era to begin with. But oh my god, everything, I was like, look at all the little details in the clothing, in the hair, in the furniture, just the architecture, everything. They were so spot on with all of it. He did a really, really good job, and it wasn't just first episode. That one, start to finish, through the whole thing, that I was just breathtaking with. Whole series. Full stop. Now, another thing that caught my attention right off the bat was that initially, early in it, it did seem like it followed how reality looked, of being like 99% like white people everywhere with like, I think one black dude. And I was like, not that I am rallying for that, I'm not, but just historical accuracy. I was like, you know, most things that try and take place in that era nowadays, they do the forced diversity thing, and it's always so jarring and immediately just, like, shatters, like, the suspension of belief. It takes you out of the moment. It reminds you that, yeah, this was totally made in current day about another era, and we're trying to do it better, even though that's not how it really went down, but shh. And it just, I don't know, it distracts me when that happens. So when it actually looked historically accurate right off the bat, that was almost more jarring to me, of being like, whoa, he did the thing. Huh. Okay. I'll come back to this point later, though, because it doesn't stay that way, but first episode, yes, and I think he did it to make a point, which, fair enough, but, the plot of this, I mean, initially, it just looks like a dude who's really hungry to be an actor and just wants to be in movies so badly and follow his life's passion. Those type of shows and movies are a dime a dozen about that era. Plot twist, and this is your chance to click out for no spoilers if you don't want spoilers. I give you 3, 2, 1 before I spoil it. You had your warning. Anyways, big plot twist. So he goes to a bar after being shot down his first day of trying to get picked as even an extra outside of the studio gates. He just wants to, like, drink his cares away. And this dude seemingly finds him and is, like, really hung up on his appearance, that he's so good looking, and thinks that, yeah, I want to hire you. However, not as an actor. I want to hire you to work in my gas station, because I only hire good-looking people to work there. Okay, it's a gas station. Why does that matter? He's like, because of the high clientele that come to my gas station. They want a very specific type of need met. That should have been a big red neon sign to me of where this was going, but it went zooming over my head. I didn't catch it. That dude's a pimp. He's pimping out his gas station boys. I was like, when this bombshell dropped, I was like, holy fuck! What just happened? What is this show? What? This is not what kind of show I thought this was gonna be. But I mean, all of the people that they're servicing are people that are like the bigwigs in Hollywood. You're not going to rock the boat because you never know when one of them might like you and might hire you on. Fucking what? It's like kind of like a reimagining of the whole casting couch thing. Which, I mean, it does kind of go into that some too, but it's more so this freaking gas station that's pimping out really gorgeous boys. But, anyway, like, this guy is, so he thinks, happily married to a woman and is very offended that he's not only asking him to cheat, but to cheat with not just other women, but also other men. He's like, I'm not gay. He's just like, you'll be gay for pay if they pay enough, but, not in those words, but, you know, at the end of the day, it's what it all translates to. Spoiler alert, he falls in love with one of his co-workers, and it's like a whole thing, and it's not only scandalous because, oh my god, homosexuals in the 1940s, clutch the pearls, but it's a black man, interracial couples, oh my god, what could, yeah, it's a whole thing. So obviously they are not just in the closet because they're gay, but they're really, really far in the closet because of the interracial thing. Yup. That's a thing. So, yeah, there's that. There's another guy who gets sucked into this too, that, I think he doesn't end up gay, but he does end up leaving his wife, who is pregnant with twins. It's like, oh, it's so bad. But there's so many windy twists and turns through all of this, in them trying to, like, climb the career ladder. And meanwhile, while all of this is going on, then we've also got the ladies who are trying to be hired as actresses, who are in, acting classes and all, and, they're up against each other. And frankly, like, the one black girl in the class is actually the most talented one. But of course, pretty blonde white girl is super, super, super jelly, and oh my god, she is like the head of the studio's daughter. Oh, so you know damn well she gets anything she wants just handed to her on a silver platter, because that's how it's always been, being the daughter of the freaking studio mogul. So you already just immediately, just looking at her, know she's a bitch. But you expect her to be way more evil than she actually is. I was almost disappointed that they didn't make her more terrible than she was. There was potential there for more drama that could have happened, and then didn't. But they had the whole drama of that. We know on paper the black girl should be the lead for this movie, but she's black and the South would riot. And they are definitely right about that, and therefore it's handed to the white girl. And this all goes, you know, about as you would expect, until I think it's like Eleanor Roosevelt demands they hire that black girl. So they do. And the South does exactly what the South does best. And it's all sorts of bad. Because now not only is it a movie, for the first time ever, starring a black girl, but a black girl in an interracial romance on the screen. And, oh, by the way, the screenplay was also written by the black guy. Yep. There's also subplot going on about the studio head's wife. He had a heart attack while cheating on the wife, and while he was indisposable, the wife got to temporarily take over the studio and run it as she would. And this is how a lot of this got greenlit, was because she was in head of it till he came back and all the shit hits the fan. there's a whole lot more things that happen than just these. I'm really bad at giving synopses of shows, I swear, but it's just interesting though because there's so many just like real celebrities that are in it, like historical figures, but then interwoven with the fictional ones to where it blurs the lines between fact and fiction gorgeously to where you don't know what's real and what's not, and I love it. I love that. However, the further into the show it gets, it does start to smack of the whole forced diversity thing, and it's like, I get that this is a reimagining of the 1940s Hollywood. I get that. I get that in terms of fairness, yeah, it probably should have gone down more like this, and that this is like a fantasy retelling of it. It basically ends up reading like 1940s Hollywood fan fiction, essentially, at the end of the day. Because you know damn well, after the movie gets made, who all wins the Oscars? Oh yes, the black girl, the screenwriter. Who doesn't win? The white guy. The straight white male. Just saying, it's just like, it took a turn somewhere in there and got political. It's like, oh man, you were so close to getting the whole show perfect. You were so close. And then at the Oscar ceremony, like, the two gay guys, like, kiss in front of everybody. And even though they get booed, which, yeah, that would have been the least of what would have happened back in the 1940s. They probably would have been lynched on the spot, like, let's be real. It's like, I see what you're trying to accomplish, and I appreciate that. Because, frankly, yeah, it should have been more like that back then. And I hate that it wasn't, but it's like, you overhauled it so hard and so jarringly in just, like, 7 episodes. To where it's like, to expect everybody to have changed hearts and minds so quickly. No, you lost me somewhere in there with the suspension of belief. It just... somewhere along the way, all of a sudden, now it feels forced and heavily fictionalized and like, yeah, I see what you're doing, and now it's all predictable because we know exactly how it's going to pan out, and like every last thing from that point onward was predictable, just saying. But I still really liked it. It just, like I said, it missed the mark by like this much. It was so close. It was so close to getting it all right. But it's like if they hadn't have thrown in the gay kiss at the Oscars in front of everybody and expected that 1940s Hollywood would have just been more or less cool with that and done nothing worse than just boo at them for it. It's like, yeah, I mean, I get the statement you're trying to make right before Pride Month. But, if they had done it backstage, maybe, yes. But in front of, no, you lost me. Lost my friend who was watching it with me, too, at that point. We were just both like, did they really just... really? Okay. We went there. I mean, it was already feeling that way with the selection of who won and who didn't with the awards, but that just was like the final nail in the coffin of, aw, he killed it on the last episode. So close, but so far. But I mean, I give him credit for trying, though, and for getting it a lot closer to actually making it work than a lot of people probably would have. But that's, like, really my only complaint with it was that too much of it just fell a little too perfectly into place at the very end, and is supposed to just be perfectly okay in that era, even though it wasn't that many episodes, not that much time elapsed. Socially, it wouldn't have changed that much that quickly. So it's like, at the very ending, it kind of fucked itself over, but up until that point, it was so well done. And the rest of it was still super well done. I still really, really liked it. And I think I would still rate it a 4 out of 5, honestly. Just the way that they really just haphazardly slapped everything together in that last episode. This is like one complaint I do have with Ryan Murphy things, is that he story builds beautifully and everything. He has great ideas for plots, but then he shits the bed when it comes to tying up those plots at the end of the story. And it's just like everything gets too rushed, and just, it's like, yeah, we didn't quite get enough episodes greenlit for this project, so we had to just make it fit right at the end and just rush it. Or, conversely, we didn't really know how to end it, so that's the ending you get. I see this with, like, different seasons of American Horror Story. I definitely saw it with Glee. Fosse a little bit, even though that was based on real life. So, I mean, it's kind of a common thread I've seen throughout his work. I think it's improving, and I'm still going to watch more of his work, because I do enjoy his work. I think he's learning as he goes along, and he's getting better at it. But, yeah, like I said, that's really my only complaint with it, was just that the ending was too rushed, and just fell a little too perfectly for that historical era, for that to really just even fly as any type of believable. I get that it's like, it'd be really nice if it could be, but it's just like, it feels too forced. It's like, I'm not buying it. But still rating it a 4 out of 5. I still highly recommend it, especially if you're a fan of that era, because it is really good. It's like really, really good. So, I think you'd still enjoy it, just disregard the ending being a little too haphazardly. It's like a little ham-fisted, I think. But anyways, that's it for this one. So as usual, you guys know what to do. If you like this video, go ahead and give it a like. If you're not already and you'd like to be, click subscribe, hit the notification bell icon so you never miss an upload, leave comments down below, make sure you're following my social media accounts, my Facebook fan page, my Twitter, my Instagram, my Etsy, everything and more. It's all down below. And if you like what I do here on this channel and you'd like to help support it, the donation link, as always, is down in the description. Anyway, guys, till next time, bye-bye.